Shalom everyone. This lesson is about Tzedakah. And everyone connect the word Tzedakah with giving money, which is correct. But I'm focusing on the spiritual aspect of Tzedakah. What is Tzedakah? What happens spiritually when we do Tzedakah? And what is to make Tzedakah? To understand that, we go to the first verse in the Torah that we find the word Tzedakah, and this is in Genesis chapter 15, verse 6. Ve'emin ba'Adonai ve'achsheveha lo tzedakah. Then he believed in Yod-Kevavke, and he reckoned it to him as righteousness. Tzedakah. Righteousness, Tzedakah is the same word. Now, for the background story, we find it in Genesis chapter 15, of course. And God revealed himself to Abram before his name was changed to Abraham. And the story in short, that Abraham said, I don't have a child, and you promised me to give me rewards, but I have nothing but the servant that he's going to be my heir. But God took him out. So he believed in God, and it became to him tzedakah. We go to the Zohar, and we find the reference to this verse in the portion of Nassau, paragraphs number 190 and 191. The Zohar reveals that Abraham didn't see the spiritual system at that time, so he couldn't believe until God took him out and revealed to him what's going on above the level of Malchut. Even astrology is part of Malchut because, you see the stars and you read them. Basically, it's like a text that you look at the stars and you read from them. But God revealed to him the spiritual system, and that's what created for him the connection that turned into tzedakah. Now, what happened here? The spiritual system has 9 Sefirot of light, which is all spiritual. And in Malchut is the level that we see things, objects, dimensions, etc., time. To connect to the spiritual level, we need to have faith. Because without faith, we cannot connect to it. If we're limited in our faith, then we are stuck in the level of Malchut. And Abraham at that time, he believed. And he made the connection to the spiritual system. And that's why God gave him the letter Hey, gave him control over Malchut, and it turns to be Tzedakah. Now, the Zohar also tells us that Tzedek is judgment, and Tzedakah is mercy. Now, Tzedek means justice. The world of Malchut is controlled by judgments. That's why the name of God, the Yud-Kevavke, which is all spiritual, we're not allowed to pronounce, it's all spiritual. You can only see it with our eyes, but we pronounce the Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, Adonai, instead of pronouncing the actual word, which is Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. So it means that there are different levels here. So this is the level of judgment, Malchut. That's why Jerusalem is called Ir Tzedek. And Yosef HaTzadik, Tzion, they're connected to Yesod. And when we have the connection, it becomes Tzedakah. So Abraham received the Hey that made this connection. So he earned it with his faith, that he believed. He saw the system. God helped him see the system. So he believed, and it became tzedakah. So Malchut for Abraham turns from tzedek to tzedakah, from judgment to mercy. And that's how he earned all his path, his future changed because of that. We read here in other places in the Torah the word tzedakah. Here in Deuteronomy 6:25, it will be righteousness for us if we are careful to observe all this commandment, mitzvah, precept, before Yud-Kevavke, our God, just as he commanded us. The connection here between tzedakah and mitzvah. What is mitzvah? Mitzvah is an action that connects us to the light. And the secret is revealed when we take the first two letters, Mem Tzadik, and we convert it in Atbash form. Atbash is the form that we take the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, replace it with the last letter, the second letter with the second to last letter, and so on. So in this way, the Mem and the Tzadik of mitzvah become Yud K. And together, so Mem Tzadik Yud K, and then becomes Vav K, so we have the name of mercy, the name Yud K Vav K. We connect the spiritual system with the action or precept. That's why it says it will be righteousness, tzedakah, for us, if we are careful to observe all his mitzvot before Yud K Vav K, our God. So if we follow the precepts, then we have connection between the upper and lower. This is very important. And by the way, when we study the Zohar and reveal all those verses of the Torah and study them, we create actually such connection, because the biggest mitzvah is to study the Torah, because every study of the Torah reveals light. So we connect to the aspect of mercy of God. This verse shows another mitzvah, and it again, when the sun goes down, you shall surely return the pledge to him, that he may sleep in his cloak and bless you. And it will be righteousness for you before the Lord your God. So doing this particular mitzvah turns it into tzedakah before God. Another verse from Jeremiah 9:23. Again, here we see that the tzedakah comes from God. We have the ability to connect and make tzedakah for ourselves, but also God can do that. He can create the connection for us. Because I am God, oseh chesed mishpat u'tzedakah ba'aretz. That I am the Lord, Yud Kei Vav Kei, who practices steadfast love, justice, and righteousness, tzedakah, in the earth. For these things I delight, declares Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now, before we continue to another dimension of the tzedakah, we need to understand what happens when we have a desire and action. Every desire and action creates a form of the tree of life. Everything. So we have the desire. Desire, it's on the spiritual level. Okay? Something comes into our brain, Keter, and we want something. You want something, anything. Now, to reveal it, to turn the desire to manifest it in the world of Malchut, we need to do an action. Okay, for that, we need to make a connection of light that exists in the desire and draw it down to Malchut through the action. Now, everything in this world, because we are controlled, governed by the system of the tree of knowledge, good and bad. So the bad side, we have easy access. We can draw energy from the negative side easily. But from the right side, there is a process of earning. Now, this is, we see different vessels, different actions, different desires, different levels, small, big, and so on. And right now they're all more or less open in a potential state. But we need to create a connection to draw the light to Malchut. So in this case, this one has a connection to Malchut, and there is a manifestation. And we should do that with everything. If we don't do that, we have like a black curtain, negativity takes the energy, the potential light that we created with our desire, can grab it to the other side, to the negative side. So we need to work on each action, each desire, and manifest it positively, and draw it from the right side, from the good side of the tree of knowledge, good and bad. And so if we leave unfulfilled desires that we didn't pursue, or wishes that we started an action, we didn't do it properly, we didn't connect it to the light and connect it to the negative side, it creates black holes. And this is all our surrounding light. If we have black holes, we let the negativity comes, and God forbid, it could also ruin other things that we're working on. So it's very important to make the tzedakah, to make the connection, to draw the light for everything, not to leave anything open or leave it potentially for the negative side to grab. Here we read from Psalms 106:30, ויעמוד פנחס ויפלל ותעצר המגפה. Then Pinchas stood up and intervened, prayed, and the plague was stayed. What happened in this case, there was a negativity. Let's say the black diamond here is the negative aspect of an action. And Pinchas stood. That's why it says he stood. Pinchas stood. Why? Because you need to go up. You need to connect higher. And he created a connection. He prayed. So I need to create unification, and he removed the negativity. So very important. If we have some negative aspect, we need to create spiritual connection to unify the upper and lower to draw light. Because without the light, darkness can just create more chaos. And 106:31, the next verse says, ותחשב לו לצדקה לדור ודור עד עולם. And that was counted to him as righteousness, tzedakah, from generation to generation forever. So the aspect of tzedakah is not just temporary. It has continuation and continue in different lifetimes, in different actions of our life. How the process of light coming down to this world. Now the three sephirot, the upper three sephirot, Keter, Chokhmah, and Binah, bring the light, okay, from Keter, actually from the endless. The light comes to the Keter. Keter immediately move it to Chokhmah, and Chokhmah also connect immediately to Binah. And that's the first three is like almost automatic. And this unification of Chokhmah and Binah create the Sephirah of Da'at that deliver the light force to the lowest Sephirot of Zeir Anpin, the six Sephirot of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. So we have life. The spiritual level is full of light. This is the spiritual world inside this frame. Now, and the world of Malchut is the material world. It's a world of time and temporary state of existence. Nothing stays forever. Everything is transformed in time from one state to another. Now, we read in Proverbs, לא יועיל הון ביום עברה וצדקה תציל ממוות. Wealth won't help in the time of judgment, but righteousness will deliver from death. We learned earlier that the aspect of tzedakah stays with us and gives us the energy of life because it draws the life force, as we saw it here. So when we do tzedakah, unification of upper and lower. We believe, we have the faith to connect to the spiritual system. We pray, we make action on the lower level to create unification. So we have the aspect of tzedakah, and that brings life to the world. So we connect to life. Without it, we can stay here, even if we have gold. It's just gravity to Malchut. We stay in temporary state. Time, grow old, die without any residual aspect of the life force. So we don't have life force. If people connect only on the lower level, on the material level, they are stuck in this world. They don't have future. So, and the verse talks about that at the time of judgment, and this is more or less related to the future or the final redemption, when there'll be like a big chaos in the world, Mashiach will come, there'll be war. Only tzedakah, only those that were righteous enough to make a lot of spiritual connections can be saved from death. The verse in Proverbs tells us that, in the time of judgment, only righteousness, Tzedakah, will deliver from death. And that's important to understand. When we have Tzedakah in our being, we have light, then that's the protection that saves us from death in this lifetime and also in the world to come. And we'll get to it soon. How do we make tzedakah? Let's go to Daniel 12:3. והמשכילים יזהירו כזוהר הרקיע ומצדיקי הרבים ככוכבים לעולם ועד. Those who have insight will shine brightly like the brightness of the expanse of heaven, and those who lead the many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. What's the meaning of that? There are those people that do connection to the upper level. They are the maskilim, they are the ones that have insight, and they connect to the life force. They'll have merit. So the maskilim, those who have insight, make spiritual connections and they have the life force with them, and they will shine and bright because they have connection, great connection. Now there are those matzdikei harabim, those who lead the many to righteousness. Matzdikei, those are the ones that make others tzadiki, make others righteous. They will be like the stars and forever and ever. Those who lead others to righteousness, to do tzedakah, to study, to make spiritual connections, are the ones that have higher level. Why? Because if this is you, and you make others like you, or on a different levels, they are like your stars. You have testimony to your actions, to your righteousness. And that's very important. In Zohar Terumah, and the Zohar tells us, if people knew the reward that people will receive for bringing other people into righteousness, into the make spiritual connection, into the Zohar, and do tzedakah by themselves, their world will be amazing. They will start chasing people just to bring them into the light. And that's the connection to matzdikei harabim, those who lead many to righteousness. Because anyone that you bring, you are part of them. You have connection to them. Here, just for the example, I put 4, but imagine you have hundreds, and you don't know. When you influence one person to be righteous, to do tzedakah, and he influences others, the spiritual thread goes from you to them, and so on and so on. And it's very important. Now, how to do tzedakah? Tzedakah, this connection to the light, is we do it, the action. In addition to spiritual connections and prayers, we need to make the action in this world. And for that, you need to give. So the first thing is, if you see poor people in urgent need of support, they are the first to receive. If somebody comes to your environment and this person is hungry and he needs support, you give him whatever you can, of course, because you bring life to that person. You connect the light with your energy. You connect the light to their lives. You bring them life force. They survive because of you, on this level or another, different level. After that, you support channels of light. Synagogue, congregation house, those are they give you a house to do your services, worship, etc. They help you make connection, make tzedakah, connection to the light, so you support them to make sure they stays and provide the services to you and to the community. Now, when you study from websites, nowadays, because the world is open through the internet, you go to a website and you study a lot from there. There are amazing websites all over the internet, not just the Daily Zohar and Unity Zohar. There are others which are very good, and you can find one website that you you know exactly what you need to study at that time. So those people that helps you make connection, all those websites, you give them back and you connect, you make tzedakah. Because you connect yourself to the light and you support the channel. You keep continuation of light, of life force to this world. Because they continue to teach you, to support you. Everything in this world costs money. So the moment you provide from your energy, you help them, you help yourself. And this is the aspect of Tzedakah Rabim, because you support those that lead many to righteousness. By supporting them, you become part of Tzedakah Rabim, the one who leads many to righteousness. Because without your support, or relative support, it's all relative, but without your support, it would have been different. Your rabbi, Zohar and Torah teachers, whoever in your environment that help you connect to the light, study and learn, you should support with your energy, and that you make tzedakah. You see people around you, pure people who reveal light in the world, you give them, no matter where they are, where they're from, etc. If you see a pure person that do the work of the light, then you support them. And when you do that, you support yourself. You create another star in your life. And also very important. Finally, we read in Proverbs 21:21, רודף צדקה וחסד ימצא חיים צדקה וכבוד. Whoever pursues righteousness and kindness, chesed, will find life, righteousness, and honor. And those who go after making tzedakah and kindness will find life. And life is the life force that supports you in this life and in the world to come. And tzedakah, the second righteousness, when you find tzedakah, it means the tzedakah that God provides for you from the higher level. And kavod is also, the honor comes from the light, not from below. People's honor is, it's a simple reward. You can say it's like somebody gave you a few dollars for something that you did for them. So this honor, it helps your ego. It means it stays in the world of Malchut. But the honor that comes from God is the most important one. I'm going to make another video related to the Book of Life, and it's good to watch it also because there are connection between Tzedakah and the Book of Life. Anyway, that will conclude our study of Tzedakah, and I wish you that you always find ways to do Tzedakah, to bring life, righteousness and honor in your life. Amen.